Hello and welcome DPL fans, you got Gypsy, and today we are back with my DPL game for I think it's week 4, could be week 5, I think it's week 5 actually. We're facing off against KingL5 in ORAS this week. Now, L5 is a very well-known player in the kind of tournament scene. He's a really strong player, and he's a guy that I haven't got to face yet so far in the format, so I'm definitely looking forward to this one. I've had a pretty crazy schedule so far in the DPL. I've faced guys like Jake and Techno. And now I'm facing L5. Next week I'm facing Jolt. So if this isn't some sort of rigged schedule, I don't know what to tell you guys. But I'm not complaining. It's a lot of fun to face these guys, and I don't usually get to take them on. So it's definitely a fun experience. But yeah, we're here facing off against L5, and at this point in the week, I think the Young Goaters had already won the week. My team. So it wasn't like this game was a clincher or anything like that, but obviously, you know, still trying to get the win. And yeah, L5 has a pretty rough matchup versus Megazam. He doesn't have a reliable pursuiter on his team, so it takes a lot of pressure off Megazam to kind of go in this match. And I have the Reuni as well, so this is a Megazam Reuni. really solid double psychic core. And yeah, like I said, we're playing an ORAS, so it's going to be the kind of delayed mega speed buff, which is important to consider. He does have the Mega Lop, and he's got Mew, Gren. He's got a pretty good team in my opinion, but it just is pretty vulnerable to my Zam, so I'm going to kind of try to capitalize on Zam and Reuni putting in the work. And I do have T-Spikes to support them. He did have a poison type, but he didn't end up bringing it. I think he had a poison type. I think he may have had like a poison in the back, I forget, but we're going to jump into it and see how it goes. So I'm going to lead off with my Hydreigon here, as he does lead off with his Mew. I am actually a Soulfest Hydreigon on this set, so turn 1 I am just going to fire for Dark Pulse, as Zapdos does come in, revealing to be Spadef. Now, Hydra matched up amazingly versus all his kind of hazard setters. He could have led with Pharaoh to try and get up rocks, but that was kind of a free rose for me, or a free Reuni, so he just tends to lead. He just chooses instead to lead off with his Mew, which is a fun play. Probably led well versus my Rockers in Ape and Lando. So he's going to go into his Spadef Zapdos, revealing yeah, he's definitely Spadef 28. That's a chew. So going to go into my Rose here, as he does just fire off the Hidden Power Ice, and I'm going to take this opportunity to fire off the Toxic Spike, as he does go hard out into his Mew. And yeah, I'm going to go back to my Hydra here, because there's nothing much this Mew can do to me. I'm a Soulfest, so that Ice Beam does 25, which is really solid. And right here I am going to fire off the Dark Pulse. I'm going to get a crit here with Zapdos, which is actually going to put it in range of Draco, which is really unfortunate for L5. I thought he might scout there for the Draco, knowing that I was a Soulfest based on the damage that his Mew did to me with Ice Beam. I felt like he might just scout by going hard Mew on the Draco, or hard Pharaoh on the Draco, or something like that, but he leaves in his Zapdos to die, and that's going to be really nice for us, because now he can't remove those T-Spikes unless his Mew has Defog, and it's going to get poisoned in the process. So really solid for us, as now he's going to go into his Seismitoad, and he's going to fire off his rocks here, I think. Yeah, he just throws up his rocks, and I'm just going to elect to get a Spike up this turn as he goes back out into his Mew. And now that this thing's poisoned, it's going to be a lot easier for my Psychics to take down. I do have Signal Beam on my Zam, and I'm actually going to go out to that now as he fires off the beam. And we take that pretty well. This turn I am just going to fire off the Signal Beam, as he does go into his Greninja. I guess trying to catch me on an Encore, or a cover, or a Shadow Ball, something like that. But we take out his Gren here, so that's a big threat down. And now at this point, Zam and Reuni are kind of just looking to wrap this game up. So he's going to go back out into his Pharaoh, and he's going to set up a Spike here, as I just set up another Spike of my own. He's going to go back out into Mew. As clutch, like all these hazards mean that Reuni is just going to be able to blow through his team. There's not a lot teams can do versus Reuni plus Spikes. It's just such a broken core. But he's going to roost up with Mew, and right here I am just going to recover up, as he does reveal to have the Will-O-Wisp on this Mew. So he's got Wisp, Ice Beam, Roost, and more than likely Psychic in his last slot probably. As Signal Beam's going to do a nice chunk, around half, as he can't really outstall this Zam because of the poison. It will be outlasting his, it will be outdamaging the amount of recovery he gets from Roost and Lefties. So yeah, it's kind of like a losing battle for him. I think eventually he ends up just sacking Mew off to get damage versus Zam. And no, actually he gets confused. He gets confused here, so I guess he was willing to play this long game, as I'm just going to fire up another Signal Beam. the turn after I recover. Fires off a nice beam, and I think now he actually ends up getting like hurt in confusion. So my signal beam's going to do a nice chunk, 52. So now he's going to get hit in confusion. So Mew dies there, and it was kind of like, I don't know, I feel like Mew was always going to lose that exchange. He was going to run out of recovers sooner or later, and Zam was only taking 12 each turn from the burn. So his Mew's going to go down. I am going to go out into my my Lando here, getting the drop on his Lop, and I will be able to take it out with an Earthquake the following turn. I am Yachi, so even if he's like Ice Punch, I always live the hit. And Lop is going to drop, and we are going to go out into my Reuniclus here as he goes into his Pharaoh. And I can kind of just start commoning up on this thing. He goes to the Leech on Magic Guard, so it's no worries. And he's going to knock here. He's going to crit me, but it's not the end of the world. We are defensive Reuni, so we're going to take that pretty well, even though it's a crit. And Pharaoh isn't weak either. Pharaoh's got pretty solid attack, as I'm finding out in the BBL. So we're going to get back up to full, and at this point the game's over. The young Goaters, yeah. So we'd won the week. So I think at this point, it was like week 5, I think. So at this point we're 5-0, which is pretty sick. Next week we take on the Token Minorities in what should be a pretty hype week. In week 6, they're doing pretty well. I think they're like 2nd in the table or something like that. So that should be a good one. But yeah, that is going to be my game versus KingL5. I know he didn't put a ton of time into the team, and the game didn't mean a whole lot to him because they'd already lost the week. But yeah, definitely fun to face him. Hopefully we get another chance to play sometime in the Draft Premier League. But yeah, that's going to be it. Good game to KingL5. If you guys did enjoy, drop a like and let me know what you guys thought of the match in the comments. Next week, like I said, we're going to take on Jolt, who is an old friend of mine from way back and a guy I've got a lot of respect for. We're actually going to be playing in ORAS again in his home tier. Like, Jolt's great at Gen 7 too. He's a really solid player in all gens, but ORAS is really where he feels most at home from what I understand, so that should be great. ORAS is a lot of fun to play after having played Gen 7 for so long. It's nice to kind of come back to this old familiar gen and just play around with a little bit. It's definitely like, it's a change after messing around with Z moves for so long, but yeah, I guess it's like the power drop is pretty significant, and squads like Reuni Spike squads are a lot more effective. Not everything has defog, not everything has Z moves, so yeah, it's pretty fun, but that should be a good one. Look forward to that, and I'll catch you guys